Channeled message.
The most dangerous vow ever made against you may be the one you're still honoring after the person who made it is gone. They wanted you afraid, so you stopped trusting peace. They wanted you doubtful, so now every decision becomes an interrogation. They wanted you isolated, and somewhere along the way, protection became a life with no doors. They may have lost access years ago, but if what they did still determines how freely you love, move, speak, create, rest, or allow yourself to be seen, then part of their intention is still being carried out. Not by them, by the wound they left behind. That is difficult to admit because survival can disguise itself as wisdom. Hyper-vigilance can sound like discernment. Emotional distance can look like strength. A life built around never being hurt again can feel like freedom until you realize fear is still making every important decision. The person may be gone, but the arrangement remains. You are still consulting their cruelty before you trust anything good. Still imagining how they might react before you allow yourself to expand. Still preparing for betrayal in rooms where nobody has betrayed you. That is how somebody can leave your life and remain powerful inside it. They do not need another phone call, conversation, apology, or an opening. Their influence survives every time you abandon yourself in anticipation of what someone else might do. That is why the vow you make now matters more than the vow they once made against you. Their vow may have been private, but the pattern made it visible. They interfered with your peace until you began questioning whether peace was real. They distorted your reality until certainty felt dangerous. They watched you struggle, contributed to the confusion, and then treated your reaction as evidence that something was wrong with you. Maybe they called it love, concern, family, whatever language gave them access, right? The outcome remained the same. Your distress became acceptable to them. Once the truth settles in, the question is no longer whether they deserve another place in your life. They do not. The harder question is whether they still occupy one without permission. Because removing a person is not the same as removing their influence. You can block the number and still hear the voice in your head. You can leave the relationship and still continue living by its rules. You can build a new life while arranging every room around the possibility that the past might return. That is not a failure. It's just evidence of what your nervous system learned while you were trying to survive. But survival was never supposed to become a permanent identity. They left you alone inside consequences they helped create. They disappeared when you needed honesty, support, protection, or accountability, and somehow expected you to remain where they placed you. And you did not. You learned how to make decisions while afraid. You found resources when the people who should have helped became unavailable or unsafe. You stopped waiting for clarity from people whose comfort depended on keeping you confused. You found God outside the mouths of people who use spiritual language without spiritual integrity. You figured shit out. Not neatly, not without grief, not without parts of you being changed by what happened. But your life continued. And in that continuation does not belong to them. You do not owe them a performance of healing. Your success does not need to become revenge, and your peace does not need to travel backward as a message to anybody who expected you to collapse. The moment your life becomes a response to them, they become central again. Let them become irrelevant. Let them become irrelevant. Not forgiven into renewed access, not hated into permanent importance. Irrelevant. Okay? That is what it means to nothing someone. You stop making them the villain around whom your identity is built. You stop rehearsing conversations that will never give you back what was taken. You stop treating every new relationship as a courtroom where somebody from the past is secretly on trial. They become part of a history that explains certain scars without being permitted to write the future. That kind of indifference does not make you unaware. You can recognize manipulation without entering the argument. You can see when concern is actually surveillance, when nostalgia is testing the door, and when an apology is searching for access rather than accountability. You simply no longer feel compelled to answer every knock. Discernment is not proven by constant reaction. Sometimes it is proven by how little movement an old pattern can still produce in you. There are things you take to God because carrying them longer would turn your anger into another form of captivity. You do not need to become vicious to prove that you are protected. You don't need to monitor whether consequences have reached everybody who harmed you. Their punishment is not a measure of your freedom. A life spent waiting for them to fall is still a life watching them. You have other things to do. There are parts of you that could not emerge while every day was organized around survival. There are talents that need quiet. There is work that requires full attention. There may be love ahead of you that does not ask you to disappear in order to remain safe. But you will miss that life if you continue treating peace like the pause before another attack. Now, this is where the vow becomes personal. Not a dramatic promise shouted into the past. A private agreement with the version of you who had to survive what nobody should have placed on her. You will not keep punishing her for what other people did. You will not make her remain small because visibility once attracted hostility. You will not force her to reject every good thing because something good was once used as bait. You will not call permanent fear protection and expect her to live there forever. She already survived them. She should not also have to survive the life you built afterward. There may come a day when someone returns with better, smooth language. They may sound reflective. They may use a vocabulary of healing, religion, accountability, or regret. Listen beyond the words, if you're talking to them at all. A changed person does not need your presence as proof of their transformation. They can respect the boundary even when the boundary excludes them. They can accept that becoming better does not erase what their former self made necessary. Anybody can miss access. Not everybody has confronted the part of themselves that made your destruction acceptable, and you are not required to become the testing ground for their growth. Your empathy does not require another trial period. Your history does not require another risk. And forgiveness does not have to become a spiritual excuse for walking back into the place where you almost lost yourself. The vow is not that nobody will ever hurt you again. The vow is that you will no longer abandon yourself when someone does. You will not keep explaining what your spirit already knows. And you will not trade your perception for somebody else's comfort. You will not remain loyal to a relationship after the relationship has become disloyal to your humanity. Most importantly, you will not let their cruelty become your character. They don't get to make you suspicious of every hand that reaches towards you. They don't get to make you afraid of joy. They don't get to turn your softness into something you are ashamed to possess. They do not get to make the wound outlive the relationship. That may have been their vow, to break you, to discredit you, to make you so afraid of being hurt again that you never fully return to your own life. But their vow only survives if you keep honoring it. Your vow is stronger, not because it promises revenge, because it promises that what they did will end with you. They left you alone to fend for yourself, and you figured it the fuck out. Now, stop allowing their absence to control you as effectively as their presence once did. The person who survived them does not need another lifetime of evidence that she was strong enough to endure. She needs permission to become somebody who no longer has to.
End of message.